The Harry Potter movies are known to be classic cinematics for anybody of any age to sit down and enjoy, be it if it's with their family or on their own, but it is also known that many production errors ended up in the final cut of all of the movies, some of them being way more shocking than others. The first movie, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which premiered in 2001 back when computer generated special effects was still very new in the production industry. So even with hundreds of people working on the movies at one time, many errors made it onto our screens. In today's video, I will be going over 8 of these movie mistakes you won't believe exist. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and comment down below saying I subscribed to be within the chance of winning a shout out at the end of the month.
Slytherin will help you on the way to greatness, there's no doubt about that.
Number 1. Harry switching sides. As I just stated, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was the first movie to be produced for the franchise, so there were many mistakes seen within the final cut. This particular error can be seen after the students have been placed into their appropriate houses and they sit down to partake in a huge feast inside of the Great Hall inside of Hogwarts. During an initial scene, Hermione can be seen sitting beside Percy Weasley on the left side of the Gryffindor table, and Harry is sitting across from them on the right side of the table. Then out of nowhere, Harry seemingly moves to the left side of the table, sitting in between Hermione and Percy. Yes, Harry may have just gotten up and moved to a different seat, but it seems a little bit strange he would do such a thing, seeing as though he was already sat across from them both. Number 2. Ron's trunk. During a scene in the Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets movie, the 4th film within the franchise, Ron and Harry are making their way to platform 9 3/4 to get onto the train that would take them back to Hogwarts School. However, they are stumped when they are unable to pass through the magical wall to the platform. They end up crashing their carts and tumbling onto the ground, taking most of their luggage with them. After they fall and their belongings are all over the floor, it is clear to see that Ron's trunk has completely changed its appearance. Okay, sure, it's not that much of a change that can be seen, but it's still a very weird change at that. The trunk is still the same colour and still the same size, but it now has 2 copper-like lines crossing around it, whereas before it had 3 of these copper-like lines. That's a little bit weird in my opinion. Do you guys agree? How can a trunk change its appearance? I know this is Harry Potter and I know that there's all sorts of magic going on, but really? A trunk changing what it looks like? I don't really believe it. Number 3. Changing wounds. Harry sustains facial wounds during Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, but they seem to change a considerable amount between one scene and another. I get that he is a wizard and he has all sorts of tricks under his sleeve, but I'm pretty sure he isn't able to change the appearance of a wound. Even if he could, why would he want to do that? Harry seemed to be inflicted with 2 rather large scratches on the right side of his face. However, not many scenes later, these scratches have changed. He now only has 1 small scratch on his right cheek. How can 2 scratches suddenly become 1? I am actually flabbergasted. Why did I just use that word? I don't really know. Even if you do disregard the fact that 2 has now turned into 1, the damage looks entirely different when comparing both of the wounds anyway. Harry's wound goes from being 2 long, thin scratches to 1 thick, short scratch. Someone in the makeup team definitely messed up here. Number 4. Hermione has lost part of her leg. It is very noticeable in the Forbidden Forest scene where Harry, Hermione and Ron are first introduced to Grawp in the Order of the Phoenix movie. Then when Grawp picks up Hermione, part of her leg just seems to disappear into thin air. This is very clearly a CGI mistake that somehow was looked over and now Hermione has to remain footless. Well, Not really. But wouldn't that be a fun sight to see? The CGI lines are also very apparent during this scene also, where the bottom of Hermione's legs have just vanished and been removed, so that doesn't really help either. Seeing as so many scenes in the movie need special effects, you would think this kind of mistake wouldn't happen, and if it did, that it could be easily resolved before the movies were even released. But it seems like this CGI mistake just wasn't noticed and wasn't removed from the final cut.
Hermione, serious.
Number 5. Visible wires. If we go back to a scene in the first movie, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, there are visible wires attached to Harry's gloves to support the actor Daniel Radcliffe as he held onto a stick, which is obviously Harry's broomstick. The shot where this error can be seen is during Harry's first game of Quidditch, where Snape is accused of throwing him off balance. Although this was later revealed to have been false accusations put towards Snape, as it was actually Professor Quirrell that was the guilty one. This mistake wouldn't have been caught by many viewers, as it was only on the screen for a fraction of a second. So let me know in the comments below, did you manage to catch this when you were watching the movie? Because I know that I didn't. Number 6. Books can now open themselves apparently. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 is a fantastic movie, but it too comes with a few mistakes. The particular mistake we are shedding light onto in this video is where Harry and Hermione are both seen to be sat down alone on some rocks searching for any clues they can find in regard to Voldemort's Horcruxes. Hermione is seen to be holding a book, but behind her to her side there is a second one that seems to be closed, and this is what we are focusing on because it mysteriously opens by itself. Now I know you might be thinking, well, it was clearly the wind that blew the book open or something like this, but what if I told you there was no wind during the filming of this scene? This can be 100% confirmed just from watching this part of the movie and seeing that both Harry's and Hermione's hair doesn't seem to be moving in the wind at all. So I don't really know why the book was open, and I don't know why it wasn't noticed in the final edit of the movie.
I want to bury him. Properly. Without magic.
Number 7. Disappearing blood. This mistake takes place during Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets just after the fight against Harry and Tom Riddle, who of course is the teenage Voldemort if you didn't already know that. Harry goes through a number of events in this part of the movie, including defeating a huge snake, taking down Riddle himself, and finally destroying his diary to remove the spell that was put on to Ginny Weasley. When Ginny first awakens from the spell that Tom put on her and Harry begin to chat, and it's clear to see that the amount of blood that once was on Harry's left hand is no longer there within this shot. You can clearly see this because within this shot where Harry and Ginny are talking, the camera zooms in onto Harry's hand and there's literally no blood in sight. Seriously, I don't know how that can happen. How can blood just magically disappear like that? I say that ironically because Harry Potter is a magical being, so yeah. Number 8. We see you, cameraman. Yes, that is correct. The good old visible cameraman in a shot, an error that has been seen in many films. This happened while shooting Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in a scene where the Hogwarts students are all standing around Draco Malfoy after he was defeated in a duel against Harry. If you have a keen eye, you may have spotted a cameraman stood on the left side of this shot next to the students within the crowd, watching Draco as he quivers in defeat. There is no reason for a cameraman to be within this scene, obviously, since this kind of technology doesn't even exist in the magical world of Harry Potter. So this was clearly a movie mistake where the cameraman wasn't supposed to be there in the shot, but he ended up in the movie. So shout outs to you, cameraman.
I said disarm only!
Serpent sortier!
Well guys, there we have it, 8 Harry Potter movie mistakes you may or may not have known about. Let us know in the comments below if you knew about any of these and if you actually witnessed any of them while watching the movies. We had hiding cameramen, disappearing blood and changing trunks, a variety of different movie mistakes that we thought were the best ones to show to you guys. Like I said, let us know in the comments below which ones you did know and which ones you didn't, and let us know if you think any other movie mistakes should have made it onto this list that we didn't already add. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave a like, and we will catch you in the next video.